All right, man, and we are going live. I know it has been a very, very long time. I want to try to do a podcast at least once a month, and I think I'm probably about two or three behind. But very happy to have my boy Cledus here. We're gonna be hopping back in, doing a little streamers in depth. So Cledus, dude, I just want to thank you so much, man. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I appreciate being here, Johnny. It's definitely one hell of a time being here. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm excited to do this.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited about it. Now, usually when we do the streamers in depth, we were talking to a lot of people that had their community kind of, already established. They had a good name for themselves. And I know you just told me you were just starting or you have been streaming a little bit. So what's that? Have you streamed a little bit and then just kind of took a little break because you have other things going on, or do you have a set schedule at the moment, or what's happening?
Oh, right now I don't have a set schedule. I literally just started streaming about 3, 4 weeks ago, and I really want to get into it, and I want to get back into it. But when I started, I had just my diving season because I'm a diver had ended, and so I wanted to try to do something. So I figured I'd try to go back to school, and I got so busy with working on that I haven't had time to really sit down, and make a legitimate schedule for streaming. I have streamed a couple times, 3 or 4 times, mostly Dead by Daylight, and I think I streamed once with Warframe, which is a great game, by the way. Check it out. But yeah, man, I want to get back. I want to get a set schedule and do maybe 1 or 2 streams a week, maybe 4 streams a month, possibly. And just definitely get back into it and start building a community because I see guys like you and Dino Robot and just the community that you guys have and the friends that you have. And it's just something that I want to build myself and be able to be that beacon of light and just be friends and just get out there and say hey to the world.
Yeah, dude, it's definitely it's nice when you got into a community like when I was in the community as well. I'm not in that one anymore. Definitely moved on from that. There were some issues there. It's hard to start streaming and actually be part of a group. I know I've done it twice now. When I first started, I was part of one, and it was one of those things where they grew it so fast it started off with maybe four or five of us, and then it ended up being like 50 different streamers. And like the main rules, like you had to follow everyone that was in there. You got part of the Discord. It was difficult to keep track of everybody.
Yeah.
So everyone would have like, oh yeah, we're part of this team, and it's like, dude, I've never even met this guy. I don't know what he's doing. So I actually ended up leaving that, and then of course, after that, I was with the Biscuit Bandits, which I am no longer with them. But I'm not gonna be salty about the whole thing. It was wish them nothing but the best. We did have a little bit of a fallout. I'm not sure if you saw that.
No,
Um,
sir.
well, you didn't see it, huh?
No, I didn't. I apologize about that. Yeah, I didn't see it.
Oh yeah,
So
no, it's no worries, man. That's the whole situation. Not really gonna get into it that much. It was it
water under
was
the
it
bridge.
yeah it was something that I felt a little betrayed after a while. I'm sure. I mean, if you want to get into it, we can definitely get into it a little bit later. But is that something you're looking forward to getting into? Like, you want to do like a stream team, or do you want to have like your own name? Because there is a difference. There's a difference between being just who you are, or do you actually want to be part of a team where you guys are all in a community together? Like, what is your main goal?
My main goal is not only put myself out there, but I would like to be a team, especially with like you and if we Burley or guys like that, and just have a small team that's committed and just a small team. We can grow the community and not have to worry about bringing 10,000 different streamers on and trying to catch up with all them and just that all that drama and bullcrap because that takes away from our work capacity, what we need to do with our own life because we can't get shit done when we're worried about this guy's streaming now, this guy's streaming now, and not being able to plan it out because there's so many people. So I would love to be a part of a small 3, 4 man team, getting out there streaming and building one community that's just centered on one thing instead of like 10,000 people going this way and that way and this way and that way.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and you mainly do like Mixer, right? You're not doing Twitch or Facebook or anything like that. Like, what made you want to go to Mixer versus anything else?
The main thing that made me want to go to Mixer is I was following you when you're still on Twitch. And when you jump from Twitch to Mixer, I just saw it was so much better. The reaction times were faster, chat times were faster, and Mixer is just a so much better streaming application than Twitch. And I just liked it better. I liked the way it looked, I liked the way it felt, and just everything in general. So that's why I wanted to go straight to Mixer instead of getting into Twitch. And plus, Mixer is up and coming, and I was reading some of their things for streamers, and I just feel it's better not only for the community, but it's better for me personally to go to Mixer instead of straight to Twitch.
Yeah, Mixer. It was definitely it was a change. When I left Twitch, I think I was close to like maybe 400 followers. I was probably 354, 357, something like that. Actually, had pretty good subs on there as well, but it was definitely different. I think you made a good choice, just because Twitch has a lot of issues that it's going on with right now. I'm not sure. Have you heard anything that's been going on Twitch? Like it got into some trouble. They actually had, um, under Ninja's page,
Yep.
since he went over to Mixer, and they ended up having porn on there, and they didn't catch it for like 3 hours. So I don't know. There's something about Twitch where it's a nice place to start. It's a little bit more difficult, just because of all the different people that are on there and everything that has to do with, like, one of their main things now that I think is still going on is they have like poolside streams. When you watch a stream though, what do you mainly look for? Like, what's your main goal when you watch a streamer that's going to be entertaining? Do you want to go in there where someone's just chatting? You actually want to see the gameplay? What's the main thing that you're looking for?
The main thing that I look for in a streamer is the ability for them to not only have great content, be able to play the game, but also interact with their chat, with their community that they're building. Not just someone that's just focused all about them and the gameplay, or not just someone that's focused all about the chat. Mixed 50-50, because I feel that's when you get the best recordings, the best streams, is when you have someone that's interactive and yet still knows how to put out that great content and just doesn't focus too hard on one side or the other. That's mainly what I look for when I'm viewing for someone, which is something that drew me to your streams and when you play games, because you're like, hey, I'm gonna play this game, I'm gonna be pretty good at it, even though you get killed by the same guy 5 times. But you're also heavily into the chat as well, which is really cool. And that's something I definitely appreciate and something that I look for and something that I want to do as well.
Well, I always thought it was important to. I was mainly more into talking with the chat versus the game. Like, when I would always fuck up if I had 20 people in there just talking to me at the same time. I pretty much didn't even pay attention to the game anymore. It was difficult, but I've said it in the past, and I'll say it again. Streaming was more of a stepping stone for me to get more into podcasts. That's something I enjoy. I enjoy talking to people. Love playing video games. Love streaming. It is fun. But at the same time, for me, it was something that I just enjoyed chatting with people a little bit more, and that's kind of what I looked in to for as a streamer as well. As I love the interaction of it,
Absolutely.
especially some trolls. And you said you did stream a little bit. Do you ever get any trolls that came in there and try to fuck with you a little bit, or?
Actually, yeah, there was a couple times where I shut down my stream because I didn't want to deal with it. Where this one guy, he kept coming in and was like posting sites for or ads for these sites. And when I clicked on one of them, because I was curious, what he was trying to post, it was like either T-shirts with erotic things or like these stupid or not stupid. Some people take it pretty seriously, but these little waifu dolls that you can make that are like your wife if you can't find a woman or things like that. And I'm like, I really don't want that in my stream. I don't want that anywhere near my community. That's just me personally. And I just shut down the stream one day because I had 3 people coming in and posting those things, and those were the only 3 viewers I had at the time. Because, like I said, I'm just starting out, but I just didn't want to deal with that anymore. So I put on my bots, don't have any ads or things like that. But those are the trolls that I had mostly.
Wait, like a waifu doll? Like, it was like an actual like robot doll you can build, like a fuck doll?
Almost like that, but it's like for the waifu, basically it's like this full size anime pillow of like their favorite anime characters or cartoon characters or like game characters that these people literally covet more preciously than their own lives. That because I read up and I'm like, what the hell is this? I had no idea. I'm just some country boy from West Virginia. I had no idea what that was. Give me an apple and a freaking piece of coal and I'm a happy boy. But these guys are talking about freaking making love to these dolls, or some people take so much pride they don't even want to make love to that doll because it's like their soul. It's just like, how can you marry an inanimate object? It's crazy.
How much did they cost? Did you see the cost of them?
One of them was like $250, and it was literally this giant gorgon looking thing. It was like 8 feet long, but like 6 feet wide or something like that. It was insane.
Wait, two
And
hundred fifty dollars.
it reminded me of this. I can't remember. It was a couple years ago where this guy literally made a computer program. I think he named it Karen, but he literally married the computer program. And the computer program, he had it set up to access his entire house, control his life, everything, and gave it a female voice. And he literally married his computer. It freaked me the hell out because I was like 12 or 13 or something. And I'm like, I wonder if I could do that.
Wait, so no doll, it was just a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And
It
you
was literally just a computer voice that he programmed himself to access his house or something. The dude was a millionaire. He couldn't find a wife. He had a crap ton of money, and he just literally built this wife, his own personalized wife, that he just plugged in and carried with him everywhere. And it was insane just to think about that, because my young innocent mind was like, people really do that? That's crazy. I wonder if I can do it.
I bet you he upgraded, dude. If he has that amount of money, he upgraded to a fucking sex doll. We know he did.
Oh, I can believe it.
Yeah, they make those now. They make those now. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna be rocking one of those. But you said you've been doing a lot of diving, like that's what you did, right? So like your real job then, what do you do exactly? Diving, like what kind of diving?
Yes, sir. So I'm a commercial diver. I went to a trade school in Ariel, New Jersey for 6 months. And basically, I'm a commercial diver. And I used to work out a lot in Texas and the Gulf of Mexico, where we inspect, and we clean cargo ships when they're coming overseas. So that way we can get off all the growth and other things that could be considered invasive to U.S. waters when they're still in technical, what's the word for it? Um, Neutral waters instead of USA waters. So we'd travel out 60, 80 miles, clean their boats. So that way they'd be allowed to come into port, drop off their cargo, and not bring any invasive species to the US to pollute the waters there. When I transferred and came back here, I wasn't diving at first, but I had a company, they contacted me, and basically what they were doing is they were taking care of people's like sailboats, power boats, and things like that. And basically we were just working for these, we're independent contractors. We had our own insurances, we had our own everything. We're basically a 1099 or a contractor for hire. And it was funny because my boss, he was this old Navy dude, and he was so salty because he'd be like, yeah, when you clean this thing, make sure it's clean, because these lawyers don't want to be banging their secretaries when it's 120 degrees out in the summer and there's no AC. So you make sure that shit's clean. Like, yes, sir. Gotcha, boss. So we cleaned it, we inspected it, we repaired it, replaced zincs, things like that, checked the paint, and just basic mechanical work underneath for the props and rudders and things of that nature.
Oh no shit, dude. Like what made you want to get into that?
Well, I wanted to be an underwater stripper, but I realized physics is a bitch. But at first, when I was 18, I really wanted to go into the Navy, but I thought it best for me to get life experience first. So I went ahead and I went to the trade school, was there for 2, 3 years, and then went into the Navy and got out, a little after. Actually, hang on. Cut that one. Sorry.
No worries, keep going, dude.
Yes, sir. Um, yeah, I just went as a commercial diver. That's what I want to do, and I just kept on rocking it from there, from 18 till I am now 22.
Oh Jesus Christ! And you said, and you did say, we were talking earlier, that you wanted to go back to school.
Yes. Yes,
And for what?
Trade school. You said trade school, right? You kind of cut out.
Yep.
Sorry. Trade school for commercial diving. It was Ariel, New Jersey, Divers Academy International, and so we went ahead and went there. It was a really cool dive school. It was 6 months. The woman there, her name was Tammy Brown. She was the first woman to ever dive a ADA suit or air. I forgot the exact name for it, but basically what's really cool about the ADA suit is for divers, we have to worry about decompression sickness. We have to worry about nitrogen bubbles in our bloodstream. But with an ADA suit, basically what happens is you don't have to worry about any of these chemicals or mixed gases. You don't have to worry about nitrogen bubbles. You can go down to 3,000 feet in these suits and just keep working from there. And it's insane because you can stay down there for 12 hours at a time, come up, do whatever you need. And it's its own miniature submersible submarine that looks like a giant metahuman just walking down on the bottom. You have fins, you have jets and boosters on the back, and it's something I wanted to get into, but you have to go to a specialized school for that, and I wasn't able to get in. But it's something that's really cool and definitely viable if you're into that.
Dude, like your schooling seems a lot cooler than what my schooling was. When I went to college, dude, literally all I did was go sit in front of like a dual screen, do radio, do film, and just fucking that's all I did. I was just a lazy guy, I guess.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun going into the trade school that I did. It was hard work and it was rough. Underwater physics is a bit of a bitch. I probably would have preferred laying around or being lazy and doing nothing.
Right.
But I definitely enjoyed it. It was rough. It taught me a lot of life experiences that I definitely appreciate and definitely use today. Um, and just some of the guys that I met that were absolutely insane because they were pretty much social rejects. Just being able to get in there with them and train with them, it was definitely a lot of fun. But those guys were freaking insane, just nutty.
Yeah, man, you're gonna run into that. After doing all that, you're how old now?
You cut out there. Sorry,
How old are you now?
I'm 22.
22. Okay, so after doing all of that, you're doing your diving and everything like that, and now you want to come into streaming. Uh, who is probably like your most favorite streamer to watch that actually really got you into wanting to do it? I mean, obviously it's a whole different route. Doing what you do, diving, and then just come home and then just do streaming, playing video games. Who is the one streamer that you would say is probably your favorite to watch?
Not trying to get brownie points here, but you're actually the first streamer that I ever watched. So you're kind of the one that brought me into it.
Uh, well, I don't know. I guess I can kind of give you some brownie points for that. I haven't streamed for a while though, and it's been weird. I was so used to the daily routine of going to work, coming back, streaming. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, dude, it's one of those things. Like, did you ever think, do you want to go into like an everyday thing? I know you haven't had a set schedule or anything like that, but do you want to jump and do an everyday thing, or are you thinking you're going to do like 1 or 2 days? I mean, obviously, we've talked in the past. We became really good friends now, where we are going to be doing another podcast other than Streamers in Depth. We're going to be looking at something else called A Deeper Look, which I'm super excited about that. But yeah, it gets pretty tiring. What do you want your schedule to be?
Honestly, if I could choose, especially with school coming up and things of that nature, I would love to do 1 or 2 a week, maybe like Tuesdays or Thursdays or Fridays. And I'd also like to also co-stream with you every once in a while. And that would be the schedule that I'd really want to do. And it can get tiring, but I think also from streaming or to the podcast, and as we said, the stream that we want to get set up, deeper in thought, deeper in thought, deeper in thought,
A deeper look.
deeper look. Excuse me. Definitely something I'm going to be interested. Definitely something that I'm excited to get up and start setting up with you, and just be able to get into that in podcasting as well as streaming at the same time. So 1 to 2 a week, yeah, 1 to 2 a week is definitely something I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think when you start out, man, I think that's gonna be a great thing to do. Doing the 1 or twice a week. I did every day except for weekends. I actually took those off for a whole year, and it gets to you a little bit. I mean, you get mentally drained. I loved it when I was doing it for that year. Ever since I came here, bought the house, and I got a dog now, and all this shit that's been going on. One thing that I will say to you, and I hope take it as you will, is never feel like you like streaming is like a second job. That's one thing that I really want people to understand, and that's why I've been taking a break. That's why I've been gone from streaming for a couple of weeks. I didn't do the podcast. Is I had so much shit going on at the same time that it just got mentally draining, and it started to feel like it was a second job. Like before, I was super excited about it. I was just like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like, can't wait to go home, and I can't wait to stream and do all that. And it got to the point where I was like, "Ah, I got to go home. I got to stream yet, and I just want to fucking relax." So that's probably one of the best things I can say to you is if you start feeling that way, don't drain yourself out. Take the days off. You're gonna have a lot of people that will probably tell you that no, you have to go every day, set schedule to stay relevant. Which there is some truth to that. There really is. But when you watch a streamer, you can really tell if they're there mentally, if they are actually having fun. I mean, it's super simple to tell if someone's not really having a good time. And I got to that point where I felt like I wasn't having a good time anymore. So I just had to take some time off. I'll get back into it, and we'll for sure do some co-streams. We just did Dead by Daylight not too
Yeah,
long
I
ago.
remember that was a lot of fun. That was definitely a lot of fun. Something I'd love to do again. And I can definitely and completely understand the fact of getting just mentally and emotionally drained, especially when you have your own life you have to take care of, and you can't focus all of your energies into streaming. And I can completely understand and agree with that. And so, like, because I know some of the things that you've been dealing with, and there's it's some pretty rough stuff, dude. And so props to you for, coming back, getting into it, and just taking a break and making sure your own mental and physical health is better than anything else. So props to that. Yeah, I can definitely understand that, and I appreciate the advice. I definitely do.
Yeah, I just want you to know, dude, because you're a really cool guy, and like I said, I feel like we have each other's personal numbers now. We can text or talk or anything like that, and I just want to let you know that is a little bit of advice that I can give. So do you do any kind of promoting for your stream, or do you do Instagram, Facebook? Like, what kind of promoting are you looking at?
Well, actually, like I said, I'm pretty old school. I do not have an Instagram or Facebook, so it's definitely something I'm gonna have to make so I can really do start promoting. Like I said, I just got into the streaming, so I want to be able to set that up and be able to get into that and promote and build a community that way. But as of now, my limited technology is two sticks and a rock.
Oh, got you, dude. You'll be very impressed of if you start an Instagram account, how quick you can get people to see what you're doing, and just the hashtags alone. Like I was the same way when I started. I didn't do Instagram. All I did was Facebook. I started a Facebook thing for gaming with Johnny G, but it was only people that I knew.
Sure.
I actually there was a girl that we started streaming together. Her name was Princess Angel. Very cool
Hmm.
person. Shout out Angel if you watch this. Very cool person, and she told me I had to get an Instagram. So I got an Instagram, and I didn't know how the fuck it worked. So I didn't hashtag anything, and I was like, it's all right. I don't really have anyone on here. It's like, oh, you have to hashtag. Well, fuck, hashtag does a lot of shit for you, dude. Like, you will find people that will just like, oh, dude, I want to stop by the stream. And then they do. Then they do show up to the stream, and it's really cool. You actually get to know a lot of people from there. And it's going to be a lot of people in the same boat where, they're just starting out, and then you get advice starting, and then people add you to Discords. And there is a lot of good people out there that will help you with streaming. And I definitely, if you ever have any questions, I'm definitely going to help you out no matter what. There are some snakes out there though that you got to be careful of.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, have you ever had anyone come in there and like just fully support you 110%, and then you follow them and then they don't know who you are?
I've had that actually once or twice. When I first started, there was one guy, I forgot his name, but he's like, "Yeah, man, you rock. You're doing this. That's so cool. Here, follow me on my Instagram. I'll follow you back." And I followed him because I made a quick one real quick, and I followed him. And he's like, "Who are you?" Delete. I just deleted Instagram. I'm like, "Nope, I'm done." So I got to get back into it.
Yeah, dude. I think get back into it, and you'll see it grow quite a bit. The other thing too that I had is with people coming in your stream too. I had one guy. It just reminds me of the story. Now that we're talking about this, I had one guy come in. He was talking to me for like a half hour. Good guy. And I was playing Overwatch, and obviously his name was like Overwatch, blah blah blah, whatever. I don't remember exactly what it was, but he came in, super cool. Didn't follow right away. He was just saying like, "Dude, you're awesome. I love the stream. I love your positivity. I love your attitude. Everything's cool." And I was like, "Oh, thanks so much, man." And I started talking like, "Where are you from?" And then all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, like I have over 1,000 followers. I'm gonna make sure everyone knows your name that comes in my chat because I want them to come check you out." It's like, "Oh, dude, thank you so much." And then like still didn't follow because I
Really?
have notifications, and I was just like, "Yeah, man, like if you like it, like make sure you follow us. When I go live, and like this is my schedule, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central." Finally followed, and I was gonna go out on a smoke break, which I do because I smoke. So
That's the upgrade there, buddy.
yeah, I know. So I went on my smoke break, and I was like, you know what? This guy told me he was gonna be on because after he said bye, I was like, I gotta go set up and go on my stream. And I was like, I'm gonna watch him. Cool guy. I gotta support him as well. Literally within 3 minutes, man, I went into his stream. And I was like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? On a smoke break right now. Just want to say thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great stream." I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Johnny? Like, thanks so much for stopping by the stream, man. Like, do you play Overwatch?" And I was like, "We just had like a 30-minute conversation about this." And he's like, "Oh yeah, dude, if you like the stream, like make sure you follow me and blah blah blah." And I was like, "Yeah, dude, I already followed you because when you were in my stream, I told you I was going to, so I can come check you out." And he's like, "Oh yeah, I meet a lot of people." I'm like, we just talked 3 minutes ago, dude, and you were just saying that you were gonna like oh, I'm gonna tell all my followers to follow you, but yeah, you don't know who the fuck I am. So yeah,
It's
that's
so
another
crazy.
thing, dude. Watch out for that shit. I'm
Absolutely.
not dogging on things right now. It's just it's something that I want you to be aware of because I think you're a really good friend of mine. I don't want you to walk into a lot of shit because it does happen. It does happen for sure.
I
What
agree.
so what are some of the games like? What are your main focus games that you want to play that you think will get more feet coming by and stopping in your stream?
Tough call on that one. It's actually a tough decision because I do love playing a bunch of games. One of the main games that I really love playing and really want to start streaming on is Vermintide 2 because I do love it. I love the graphics and everything that's in it. Storyline because I was always a Warhammer kid growing up, played with the miniatures, and so I love that they have this immersive, awesome game with this awesome storyline behind it. Another game that I also want to do is one that you and me have co-streamed before is Dead by Daylight because it's always fun, especially when you stop in and watch a streamer, yell, scream, and sometimes cry. I'm not admitting anything there. When some killer jumps out, and also definitely Warframe. I know a lot of people play Warframe, and probably a bunch of people are cringing at that, but it's just a game that I love playing. It definitely has a really good storyline. I'm at that point in the game where the storyline's getting really good, and definitely something that I think you could play even after completing the storyline and just play to have fun and just build a huge community with, and definitely something I want to start doing.
Yeah, man, it was super exciting. Like when we did Dead by Daylight. You know, on those days I drink. I get a little tipsy. Is that is that something you're gonna be doing on your stream as well? Like obviously you're gonna do 18 plus, aren't you? Like you're not gonna do the
Yeah.
whole teen rated. Yeah, do the swearing and everything. So is that something that you're gonna be looking forward to? Doing the drinking on there or only like special occasions? Because I know some people will actually just have that's what their stream is me drinking, me playing this game, me getting shit faced every fucking day. Is that something you're gonna be getting into, or you're just gonna kind of like a special occasion thing?
I think it's kind of going to be more of a special occasion thing. I think the whole drinking thing started when you and me started co-streaming. That's always been something that you do in Dead by Daylight. And so it's one of those things where, yeah, I'll have a drink with you when we play Dead by Daylight, but my own games, things like that, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Because one, I'm not a big drinker. I actually cannot get drunk. It's a fun fact. My body processes sugars and things like that so fast, I really can't get drunk. And every next time we play Dead by Daylight, I have got to find a better drink because I can't just be sipping straight out of a whiskey bottle, especially if one of us dies and we have to chug the whole damn thing. I'd rather not do that.
That's
My liver will hate me.
that's why I do beer, man. That's why I do beer. Everyone will give me shit about you're drinking beer, you're being put. I have a mixed drink, and it's like, I get it, dude. But if we die, we have to slam the whole thing, man. I don't want to sit there. First of all, with mixed drinks, I'm not even a big fan of them because I'm sitting there and you're drinking soda and alcohol. Like
Yep,
I don't want to sit and drink soda all night. I
exactly.
would much rather have a beer so I can just like piss it out a little bit later. But yeah, dude, it's the whole soda thing. It doesn't work for me, and that's why I'd never play with a mixed drink when I do that. But we did add the little ending. I don't think we did it last time though, where we do shots and tell embarrassing stories about ourselves. What's the most embarrassing story about yourself? Let's see if it will make the cut into the Dead by Daylight.
Oh, the most embarrassing story. I have too many to tell, but I think the one that I have the most is I was working down in Texas, and basically we were tied up to this cargo ship, and the cook, he was this young kid, just got on, and he wanted, I guess he was a vegetarian because he made a salad that morning. So we're sitting there. I'm like, okay, no meat. That sucks. Whatever. So I'll just eat the salad. So I'm eating everything. It tastes okay. Then I ate a cucumber, and it literally tastes like it was dipped in diesel and carotene or something like that. Just horrible. So I ate one because I was hungry. I was the first in the water. I went in and I did initial inspection. I came out, and then the rest of the guys were going to take care of the rest of the boat. Well, halfway through, I'm tending him. I have his umbilical in my hands, and I'm standing there, and the ship is literally right here, so I can place my hand on the bigger cargo ship where we're tied up to. And I'm sitting there, and there's all the crew is sitting there watching us, like, oh, that's so cool, but they're not American. They're like Philippine and Japanese, so all you hear is them, chirping in their language. And I look over to my other tender, my other guy that I'm working with. I'm like, hey, man, I'm not feeling too good. Can you take this? And when I held out the umbilical for him to take it, immediately just projectile vomit straight, hit the boat, jumped up, hit the crew of the cargo ship, and I ran inside. I started puking in the toilet. But what I forgot is the toilet, it's almost like the airline toilets where it doesn't flush water, it just sucks air. And at
Oh,
that point, there's so much in there, it wouldn't go. And when I finished puking, I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel better. So I go to get 2 bottles of water to flush it down. Immediately, this is gonna take a minute. It's kind of disgusting. This is the most embarrassing story. Um, After I finished puking, I get up. I was going to go get some bottles of water. Immediately, the shits hit me, and I just sat down on top of everything I just let out, let it rip, finished. Eventually, I wanted to go get these bottles of water, and that's all I'm thinking there as I'm sitting there. So I get done shitting my brains out. It was pure death. I get up, I go down, I grab 2 bottles of water, and immediately when I come back, I have to puke again. I puke everything on top of that. So it's literally a puke and shit sandwich. And before I could flush it, before I finished puking, another cargo ship went flying by. The wave from that cargo ship hit our little tugboat setup we had and slammed us into the hull of the cargo ship we're tied up on. And my face is here. Everything in that toilet decided to go whoosh, all down me, all down. And that day before we left, our boss was like, hey, you're going to be back that same night. And it's going to be a quick job, 2 hours. We were there for 6 hours, mind you. 2 hours. This was in the first 30 minutes of the job. So I cleaned the whole bathroom up. I step outside and I'm just covered head to toe. So I strip complete naked. All I'm wearing is my cowboy boots and a pair of spare whitey tighties that I knew to bring with me. They had me jump in with a bar of soap, scrub off, and they burnt my clothes. And I'm just worked the rest of the day in a pair of underwear and cowboy boots. And that was the reddest I've ever gotten. The most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me. Right then and there.
I don't know if I'd ever want fucking my own puke and my own shit, covering me up like that. That definitely won't be anything that I would want to do. That's a good one. That's a good one. I mean, I think it beat one of my most embarrassing stories. There was a story that everyone wanted to hear on Twitch. I'm not sure if I ever told it, and I think I said I was going to put it on the podcast. Did I ever tell you the poopy pants story?
Negative. You did
not the Miss Poopy Pants story. I will not say her name. My entire family knows it, but I won't say her name. So this is me in college, mind you. So being a drunken idiot, the old booze brain takes over.
Gotcha.
So there's a certain part of the story where I'm gonna leave out because it doesn't only make her look bad, it makes me kind of look bad as well. So
no names, no
yeah, we're gonna keep that out of there. But there's this girl. We were just kind of like really good friends. Hooking up every now and then, and
I got you.
So she decides she wants to get a little crazy one night. We're doing this thing, and all of a sudden she's like, oh yeah, well let's do this. And I was like, all right, yeah, I mean, like I'm down for it. And all of a sudden she's like, well, let's take some shots. We're taking some shots or whatever. So all of a sudden, I'm sitting in the living room with a buddy of mine, and I'm looking around, and I was like, fuck, where's so-and-so? I'm just going to say Stacy, because that's not really her name. I'm going to say Stacy. So I'm
Damn
like,
it, Carl. Just call her Carl.
Yeah. And I was like, so, where'd Stacy go? And he's like, I don't know. Like, I thought I saw her go in the bathroom. I'm like, all right. I get up out of my chair, and bathroom door is shut. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe she's in there. Knock on the door. Really no answer. And I was like, oh, fuck. All right. Open up the door. So I'm looking around and like I was like, what the fuck? Shut the door. Go and I sit back down. And my boy's like, what's up? And I was like, dude, there's shit everywhere. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, man, like there is shit everywhere. So he does the same thing. He gets up, opens up the door, exact same motion, dude. He's looking around. Shuts the door, sits back down. It's like, dude, there's shit everywhere. It gets better. So we go outside, we're having a cigarette, and we're laughing about what's happening. All right, so what happened was she was throwing up, and then must have been shitting as she was throwing up.
Oh, double dragon.
And I don't know how it got everywhere that it did, but it did. So we call our other friend up. We're like, dude, we have to tell him. And we have to tell Talai. So we end up calling him. We're at this point, we thought we called him. Like I said, booze brain. I come back. She's gone. Not in the bathroom anymore. I'm like, fuck. Where'd she go? And I look. And this was not at our house. This was my cousin's roommate's house that she had. White carpets. All you saw was going up the stairs, a clean spot, shitty handprint. Clean spot, shitty handprint. So I'm like, so literally we're detectives now. We're like, all right, follow the shit, So we follow it. It's up on the walls, and I'm just like, all right, dude, I can't do this. I'm just gonna go fucking lay down. laid down, passed out, whatever. The owner was not there at the time. Owner comes home tomorrow or the next day, and all of a sudden is just bitching. Like, what is this shit all over my walls? And immediately we start laughing because she doesn't know that it's actual shit. She's like, what is this shit all over my walls? We're like, and we can't hold it back. And we're like, yeah, that's what it is. And she like gets her face up to it. She's like, no, what is this? We're like, honestly, move away from the wall because it's actual fucking shit. So as we're laughing, having a good time, I notice I have a voicemail on my phone. And I was like, oh, fuck, maybe Talai called back. Listen to the voicemail, not Talai. Probably, I would want to say a 70-year-old lady. She probably wasn't that old. Sounded like she was. And calling me an asshole on my voicemail saying, I can't believe you and your friend got a girl so drunk that she shit herself and puked. How dare you? And you're a piece of shit. So it wasn't even Talai that we called. It was just some random number and had this old lady fucking pissed off at me. And that was the poopy pants story that everyone wanted to hear. And obviously you cannot tell that story on stream. Although I said a lot of shit on fucking Twitch that I should have been banned for. I think I begged them to ban me one time because I wanted to see how much they actually paid attention to small streamers. Obviously they pay attention to the big streamers, not the small ones. But yeah, that was the poopy pants story. And I mean, that's not my embarrassment. It was more her embarrassment. So yeah, dude, needless to say, I haven't talked to that girl since. It was a whole ordeal.
I have one more embarrassing story I just like to throw out there. If you're okay with that.
Hit me.
All right, so me and my uncle, we went duck hunting, especially when I was young. Sometimes much because we've both been so busy. And we used to go to just Chesapeake Island, or no, not where. It's this one island. I forgot the name of it, but there's horses on it. Chesapeake, something with a T. And so basically, there's wild horses, and they'd roam free, and they shit everywhere. But to get to our duck blind, we had to go through like this swampland almost, and you couldn't really see the bottom of it. So me being the young stud that I am, they would always give me all the guns, all the ammo, everything to carry. So I was always strapped up, and I was always the last to get into the blind because I was chugging along. So we get there, it's about 3 a.m., the sun's just starting to come up, and we're trudging through everything. I hit a branch, and I'm in my waders. I go face first into the biggest pile of horse shit I could find, and my hands are like out here behind my back, holding the guns and ammo out of the water, like, come and get the guns, come and get the guns. I'm looking up like this, and there's shit all over my face, and all you can see is my one eye open like this. Come and get the guns, it's in my mouth. It's in my mouth. And my uncle just stops, turns around, and pisses himself in laughter. It was great. He comes over to get it, and he does the exact same fucking thing. He trips and just face plants into a giant pile of horseshit. And he looks up at me, and I just see his one eye, and I can't stop laughing. But the best part is he's completely bald. So you just see like splatters of shit all over his bald head, kind of shining in that morning glare. And it's just the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Your face kind of seems like it's kind of a shit magnet, dude. You constantly getting shit on.
You should see some of the women I've dated, yeah.
Yeah, dude, I've been down that avenue too.
It's pretty rough, man. It's a rough scene, I tell you what. That's why they call me old CledusClovehitch. It's a rough scene.
The old fucking Cledus. So I've noticed like you've sent me not change the subject too much, but you've sent me a couple pictures like in the Discord and everything like that about a kilt. Like, what's with the kilt? Is it part of your heritage? Is it just something that you'd like to fuck around with?
So I'm 50% Scots-Irish, and I'm a little bit of Scandinavian and Jewish mixed in. And since I'm mostly Scots-Irish, I just love wearing kilts. My cousin, he got married in a kilt, just full kilt, and I've just always loved kilts. I love the way they feel. And we actually have one kilt that I wear that's in my family heraldry, the colors, everything. I have the symbols, and I just love wearing kilts. And when I eventually get married, hopefully, God willing, I'm going to get married in a kilt. I'll be damned if anyone's going to tell me no. But I just love kilts, man.
Are you going to have a bagpipe at the wedding?
Oh, absolutely.
Can I play that bagpipe?
You know how to play bagpipes?
Fuck.
You're invited to the wedding.
I do not know, but I would definitely want to learn.
All right. You learn it, you'll be one of my best men. Let's do this thing.
All right, cool. As long as I can play the bagpipe, that's all I fucking care about.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
So we were talking a little bit earlier before we actually got into the podcast and streaming that you actually had a man grab your shit because you were in a kilt.
Yep. So I was at the Renaissance fair about 2 weekends ago, and where my house is, there's an apartment above our garage. And Miss Bonnie, her and her two great grandkids, they love going. So I went with them one week, and I wore my kilt, and we went pretty early, and we stayed until it started to get a little bit more adult. And so when we were leaving, because it was starting to get adult, I bought this caribou fur behind me, and so I left it at the store because I didn't want to carry it around with me everywhere. So I go back there and I pick it up, and there's this older couple in there, and they're like, that looks really comfy to lay down on. I'm like, yep, definitely good for shooting pornos if you really want to do that. And some guy was drunk out of his mind, turned around and just saw me in a kilt, didn't see the hair or the beard sticking out like this. He's like, I'm gonna go be a feel of that girl. So he takes his hand and reaches up underneath my kilt, and I feel it, and I whip around. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He goes, oh my god, I thought you were female. I'm so sorry. And the woman behind the counter of the store is pregnant, mind you. She goes, I'm sober as fuck, but I'd ride you like a hurricane, boy. I'm just like, hand me my fur. Done. I'm done.
Oh, was she a good-looking pregnant lady?
Hell no.
Oh,
She was not. She was in one of those weird costumes where it's like everything was just bulging out at unreasonable places. And it, like, God bless her for being pregnant. It's something I can never do. But it was just not a good look for her. It really wasn't. And what was worse is her friend was the one that was in the dunk tank, but it was literally a dude dressed in just a two-piece, just here and just a skirt as in the dunk tank. And he comes in at the same moment and just looks me up and down. I'm like, yep, nope, it's definitely time. I gotta go. I gotta go. Sorry, guys. I gotta go.
such a fucking stud muffin, just getting hit on by everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Shitty face, good body. I don't know what he said. My ass looks good in the kilt.
So all right. So going back more into like the streaming things, then what's your biggest fear of streaming? Like, everyone kind of has like a thing where like they get nervous or they have a fear like this is gonna happen. They're not gonna know how to handle it. Like, what would you say is your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is some troll coming into my stream and making me get swatted. I don't know if you've ever seen that before.
Yeah. I've seen that shit happen before. Such a
That's
fucking dumb thing, dude.
Oh, absolutely. That's like my biggest fears because I know everyone would freak around because where my house is situated, there's a T in the crossroads, and my house is literally right here on the main street, and everyone can see my house. My house is the only one that's brick, and they all know me as the crazy guy that walks up and down the street in the kilt because I'll take walks because we're surrounded by woods as well, and I'll just walk through the woods, clear my mind, wearing my kilt, and they're like, "Oh, it's a crazy kiltsman," and they all know where I live. So my biggest fear is like I'll be swatted, and all these people will be coming out with their video cameras. That's my biggest fear, honestly.
Right. Yeah. I guess like if someone like in your town or I mean I guess it'd be more difficult if someone like from across the world, unless somehow they found your address, which that's definitely one of the main rules is do not give your address. So, I think I've given my town name out once before, but I was too fucking worried about it. It's little ass town with like maybe 600 people in there. But yeah, I guess that'd be one thing. Like if someone in your town found out that you streamed and like wanted to fuck with you, then that's definitely a reality that could happen. But I never understood the whole thing. Like I know that kid that won the Fortnite thing, or he got swatted, right?
Really, he did. I did not know that.
Yeah, I think he got swatted, and somebody I think in his town, one of the police officers recognized him, and I think it all went away. But the guy that got him swatted, I think, is doing prison time now.
Really?
Right. Well,
That's insane.
It's a serious fucking thing because
Absolutely.
I don't remember what the guy's name was, but there was a streamer that actually got shot and killed.
Jesus. Yeah. Like I said, that'd be my biggest fear, and that's just ridiculous. I mean, come on, we're just trying to be out here, make a good name, and just try to be friendly and have a good time. That's just ridiculous, man. But I have to ask you, because I know that your biggest passion is getting into podcasts and things like this, but where did that passion and drive and want to do that come from?
The passion actually came from I was actually a senior in high school, and I enjoyed listening to talk shows. I enjoyed partying and doing all this stuff, but something that really caught my fancy was I love when people can talk on the radio, and I like to hear my own voice, obviously. Right. So I ended up doing a job shadow with one of the local guys here, Arnie Wheeler. We had job shadow with him about doing radio, and I was like, fuck, man, like, I really want to get into it. By the way, like, as job shadowing him was really cool, but he kind of put that fear in you of like, hey, man, I know you really like this, and this is something you want to do. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not going to pay the bills. I think he had another job at the time, but I guess it all depends on where you go. Obviously, we're in a little town, you know, it's not going to pay that much money. So I ended up, what I originally wanted to go to college for was communication.
Okay.
And I couldn't get in. It's something about the whole math problems when they put it in a short story type thing. I couldn't figure it out. Right. I wasn't the smartest guy, but I knew that I could use my voice very well. So I was like, you know what, man? I think I'm going to pursue the radio. So I ended up going to Lake Superior College up in Duluth, Minnesota, for media study and production. And just
That's really cool.
Yeah, and just the sitting down in front of, you know, your dual screens, and we had to come up with our own commercials, use our own voices, use all the software, and just coming up with it just became natural to me. Like we had to do an hour of radio, and we had like 2 weeks to get it done. I did it within the first like 2 days.
Really?
And I just loved doing it. And my instructor came in, and he heard some of the things, and he's like, yeah, man, he's like, I really like what you're doing, and I'm actually working on a project right now. Would you mind if I use some of your commercials and your actual ones that you did with your voice? It's absolutely not. So that is kind of like where the love came from, is like, it's my comfort zone.
Right.
I'll be the first person to tell you that I actually have social anxiety really, really bad. Like if I'm in a store or something like that, and I see someone I really don't want to talk to, and like I start feeling kind of crowded, and I just want to get away. I don't want them to notice me, and it's just one of those things. But like when I sit down in front of, you know, the camera, my laptop, the other monitor, it's something about this peace of mind for me. Okay. So I think that's where the passion was. So the second I sat down in that studio, I just knew. I was like, fuck, this is something I want to do. And, you know, not finishing college, which really, really sucked. I wish I would have finished. That passion just never left. So there was a point where there was a radio personality job posted for the city that I was living in. I applied. I actually got to talk to somebody there. And once they found out I didn't have the college degree, it was like they kind of like pushed me off to the side. And I was like, and I kind of like was like, dude, please put me in the studio for 1 hour. Let me show you what I can come up with. And because I had an hour resume, but I could not find it.
Right.
And I contacted my instructor, but this was like 2 years later, and it was awesome. He remembered me, and I asked him if he still had, you know, my hard copy of my resume. Well, you have to save it on a hard drive. They wiped the hard drives after the year, so it sucked. I couldn't find it, and it was kind of a thing that sucked, because it was like, God damn it, I really want this. And if someone would just give you the opportunity to let you do what you do, I don't believe that you need a fucking degree for it. I really don't. So that's kind of where the passion came into, dude. And it's just something I've loved to do. And I hope that when I do the podcast or when I do streaming, that it actually comes off that way. I really hope that people can actually see how fun it is for me. So that's kind of where I lay with that.
Well, see, that's like I said in the beginning, that's one of the reasons I really want to get into this, is just watching you stream and the fun that you have and the passion that you have doing it. It's infectious almost. And I have to say, you know, when you said that, you know, you did your own commercials and things like that, the first thing that popped into my head is I can see Jonny doing this like men's catalog. Like, if you like your bearded men, you come here and buy this. Oh yeah.
You want to touch this old beard, you can come in here and let it get a little tickle. No, the one commercial that I actually it went into his project, it was an Adam and Eve commercial. Have you ever heard of Adam and Eve?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, like the sex store. Yeah, dude. So I had to do like the girl's voice and the guy's voice, and I even added a little whip in there and a girl going ooh. But like we could do like voice tone and things, so like I could do the girl's voice pretty good.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
I can just see you there just pretending and playing with a pair of pink fuzzy handcuffs, like, hey, big boy, you want to come to Ooh. I can just imagine that.
You want to talk about embarrassing, dude. When I did that, I was actually in a dual studio. So, like, you had to be with somebody else, and they were doing their shit, and you had to be super quiet, and then you would do your shit. And it was funny because I think the guy I was with, I actually became like really good buddies with him at the time. He was doing sports talk radio. I was doing more of like a music radio, doing like a DJ thing. So I was doing like a block section of like the artists that are coming up. So I went and found all these fucking rock bands because I was doing kind of more of a rock station.
Right.
Finding all these rock bands that were just coming out and like really, really good. So yeah, he's doing his thing, and all of a sudden, like he looks at me, and mind you, I had the beard like this because I wanted to get into bars when I was in college. So I had this beard, and all of a sudden, he sees me do this fucking commercial. He couldn't take it anymore. He got up, walked out, shut the door, and then I saw him fucking laughing.
That's awesome.
That I signaled him to come back in. I was like, all right, man, I'm all done. He's like, what the fuck was that, dude? And I was like, I don't know. It just came to me. And I was like, I kind of turned myself on a little bit. And he was just like, dude, not gonna lie, I can't wait to hear it because you don't really get to hear as my voice like in the commercial because that's when the girl's voice comes out. So I played it back for him. He's like, dude, that turns me on too. Big old burly guy, really cool. It was fun hanging out with everyone that had that same passion as you. You just became really good friends with them like so fast. It was like a fucking snap of a finger because you guys had that relationship of I love this, you love that. And it was really nice to get like the critiquing side of it of like, hey man, like I think you could do something this way and it would actually work out really well and it wasn't even your idea, and then you do it, and then they were the type of people who were like, yeah man, like that was awesome, and they would critique the way that you did things, and they made you kind of work your own magic but off of their kind of idea, and then it was yours. They're just like, no man, like that was you. And I was like, yeah, but it was your idea. Yeah, but you perfected it. And it was a really cool relationship to have with people like that. And
that is really cool, and that's something that you will never forget for the rest of your life. That's always memories that you will have. That is awesome.
Oh yeah, dude, I'll remember that guy's face to this day. And yeah, there's just a lot of great people in it, and I think that's one thing I really loved about college was having those relationships with those people and your instructor. And it didn't even seem like he was the instructor. He was more of like your guidance guy of like, hey man, like go and do this. Give this a try. And we had access to anything that we wanted. And yeah, it is the most amazing thing that I think I ever could have done with my life. And I'm super happy I got into it. And that's one thing I want for you as well is I really hope when you jump into the streaming that, you grab it by the fucking balls, dude. Because I remember when you were telling me earlier that when you started streaming that you want to get the talking down.
Is it?
Dude, it's gonna come for sure. When you first start, you really don't know what to do, you don't know what to say, and then it just becomes routine, and then that's where it's gonna take off. So I have no concerns with it. Definitely, we can talk back and forth for fucking hours.
Absolutely. I was gonna say I'm good till about 5 a.m. tomorrow. So hey, however long you want to go, man, let's go.
Yeah, dude, that's just what it is, man. And I know you can definitely do it for sure. I hope your nerves, don't get to you at all because everyone's gonna be nervous. I was nervous my fucking first stream. It's one of those things that you're gonna overcome, and I know you can.
Kind of to jump back on like you said about the whole social anxiety, I had the same thing, and something that I'm trying to overcome as well. But jumping back a little further, not trying to get off the topic of where we were, is college. I did a semester or two of college up in Canada because I really liked the school, and at first I wanted to do a double degree of biology and chemistry, and that was the only one where I could do a double major degree there. Just young dumb kid seeing where I wanted to go. But what was funny to me is when I went into that college, it was horrible. They called it a Christian college, but nobody was Christian there. They were just complete asses to everybody, and they all steer clear to me, which I thought was really funny because I was known as the American. So every time they saw me come there, like, oh shit, it's the American, walk the other way. But it was funny, but it kind of gave me a bad taste in college, so I didn't go back and finish college, which is why I'm trying to go back into it and just finish it.
So, like Christian college, is that kind of like a Bible school type thing? Like you just learn about Christianity, or what's the whole fact with the Christian college?
They just called themselves a Christian college, where they had like set prayer days where you had to like go to church on campus or things like that. And I never went because I just didn't want to have to deal with that, being around so many people crowded one time, because my social anxiety hit me hard when I was in that phase. I just literally locked myself in my room, went to my classes, did my work, walked around campus, grabbed something to eat, and came back. And I also had this big red Dodge 1500 Ram, and you could hear me coming and going because I kind of modified the muffler, and so everyone just looked at me like I was freaking insane. I was killing the environment or something. And so every time I drove by, I had my loud AC/DC or Led Zeppelin playing, and people are just covering their ears and walking away like I don't want to listen to shit anymore. Ah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude.
I liked it, but the prices there were outrageous. It cost me almost $150 to fill up my truck, and to get groceries, I would drive over into Washington State just to buy my groceries and my cans of dip because it was like $60 for a can of dip there at the time. It was insane.
Holy fuck! How do fucking people survive over there? That's way too expensive for me.
Absolutely.
I think it's expensive to pay $8 for a pack of cigarettes.
No, absolutely. It was like maybe like 30, $40 for a pack of cigarettes over there. So that's why we always drove over to Washington State. And we got really, me and my roommate, both American, and we got really good friends with one of the border guards there because every time we cross, he's like, oh, going back for groceries, right? And so it was just one of those friendships that we built. But we also were in a constant battle with our flatmates because where the dorms were set up is there's 4 separate rooms, 2 guys per. Me and my roommate were the only Americans, and they wanted to do everything in Canada. And when they would leave, we'd just rip everything down and put up American flags and Dixie flags, and just to be complete assholes. And like we had like these Americanized magnets, like Pussy Motel or just stupid shit like that we'd put on the fridge just to agitate them. And it was a lot of fun doing that, but I kind of feel like a dick about it.
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, dude. I mean, whatever. If they were upset about it, yeah, they gave you shit back. You give them shit back. So I won't worry about that much. Is there? And we'll get back into the streaming here a little bit. Is there certain topics that you would not talk about on your stream, or if people brought it up, how do you think you would take it if someone's like, hey, what do you think of this? Is there certain topics you're not going to fucking touch at all?
There are some. I do not want to become political.
Right.
Basically, I just want to be there on a game, and politics is politics. I want to live my life the best to my ability. I'm not going to stress and get gray hairs worrying about who's doing this or who's doing that. And if people try to sexualize things, not something that I want to do. Even though my streams are going to be 18 plus, still something I don't want to talk about or get into. And that's just my own personal preferences about it. I don't care if anyone else does it, or if watching a stream or playing with someone and they want to talk about that, sure, go for it. But I'm just not going to jump in. I just don't feel comfortable, or it's not even that. It's just something I don't want to get into, if that makes sense.
Yeah, dude, I think that's definitely that's where a lot of streamers are at. They don't want to get into politics, which that was always one of my rules as well. Every streamer I think I've ever talked to, that's one of their biggest things. It's just because I don't know, dude. I'm not gonna sit and fucking stress about a lot of shit that I can't control.
Absolutely.
You can vote for who you want to vote for. You can do this. You can do that. At the end of the day, though, I mean, you can't control a whole lot of it. And yeah. And I've talked to a couple of people, and it ruins friendships. It ruins fucking family. It's one of those topics that I think a lot of streamers fucking stay away. So that's very smart, very smart. Stay away from that shit. The sexualizing thing, obviously, a lot of people stay away from that too. I don't know. There's certain topics that I think can be talked about, but the thing is, with how people are nowadays, the one thing I don't understand is why can't people have a different of opinion but still be friends at the end of the day?
I agree, and it's insane. It's like, no, my view has to be this, your view can't be this, and if you don't accept my view, then you can go screw yourself. I hate you and never want to talk to you again. It's stupid. I mean, where's freedom of speech? It's basically impeaching on freedom of speech. I think that's the right word. Excuse me if it wasn't. But infringing on freedom of speech, because it's like I get to say my opinion, you get to say yours. And like my grandmother used to say, opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. They usually stink. So you get over it. You stop being a little crybaby about it and just keep on going. I mean, like you and me, sometimes we might differ certain things. We may not agree with it. And I'm sure there'll be other things in the future that we won't agree with, but we're still going to be friends. Who cares? You have your view. I have mine, man.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm glad you brought that up. I'm super excited when we get into like a deeper look into that podcast. I know we've had that discussion in the past about, hey man, like if we do have a difference of opinion, I want you to know, we'll say our piece. After that, we'll move on from it. And I think that's how things should be, and that's not where it's at in society right now, which really sucks. But that's why I'm super excited to start our new podcast that we're going to do. Not only are we going to be doing Streamers in Depth here, we're also going to be doing the Deeper Look. That's definitely going to be with my boy Cledus and also with Burley. So I'm super excited about that. You guys will probably get to meet Burley on one of those podcasts for sure.
Burley is a really cool dude. He's funny as hell. Dude.
He fucking started the whole Burley Boar. Got the product for the beard and stuff. It was awesome. It was a breath of fresh air when he came in and like talked on my stream to me. And then I at first I thought he was a troll, where he's like, dude, like, what's your email? I gotta send you something. I was like, I'm not just gonna give my fucking email out. Seemed like a really cool guy though. I'm like, you know what? Let's just see what the fuck this guy wants. So gave him my email, and yeah, you can actually see his logo up on my stream of the Burley Boar. I actually got the discount code on there that you can get 15% off. Solid dude, man.
Absolutely. And he also makes great products. Trust me, I know. That's why my beard looks so sexy. Great products.
Yeah, dude, definitely for sure.
Burley, if you're watching this, I'm coming back to buy more.
The old fucking Burley Boar. But yeah, dude, I suppose it's got to be like 11 o'clock for you, man. So super appreciate you coming on the podcast, dude. I hope you had a good time. It was definitely a pleasure sitting and talking to you, and I know that we're going to be doing more in the future, especially with a deeper look into things. And I think me and you have pretty level heads where we might see eye to eye on some things, we might not. But I think we're going to be able to talk about a lot of controversial topics, and I think we can have a good podcast on it to actually have people see different sides of it. So I'm super pumped about that. But anything else you want to add at the end, like where people can find you on Mixer, what time?
Like I said, I'm still setting up everything. I'm gonna try to shoot for 8 or 9 East Coast time, where I'm at night, usually possibly Tuesdays or Thursdays, sometimes on Fridays. My Mixer is Cledus. You can find me there. And again, and the Deeper Look podcast that we're gonna be doing, like you said, controversial stuff. Just because you like Justin Bieber, not gonna judge. That's all I'm saying. Y'all can keep them.
Can't hate the Biebs, dude.
Can't hate the Biebs. Never say never. Mm-hmm. Which is the most insane thing I've ever seen or heard. But yeah, man, I'm definitely excited. I'm really thankful that you brought me on here. I'm excited to start streaming. I'm excited to see where everything goes, and I'm just happy to be able to sit here and talk with you. And it's been one hell of a time, dude.
Oh, for sure, dude. And I'm sure. When we cut this video, we're gonna sit and talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, dude, I just want to thank you so much for coming by. I will make sure, guys, to get from Cledus how to spell it on Mixer. Everything will be down in the description below. So yeah, if you guys have anything in comments too of who else you think I should bring on, my main goal is Tim the Tap Man, dude. I'm gonna say that every time. I want Timmy on here. So hashtag,
I'll send him an email.
Yeah, hashtag want Tim. So yeah, dude. Sure. Thank you so much. And we will be trying to do these. I want to do one a month, especially if we're gonna be doing the other podcasts as well. Let's try to go for 2. Let's just do what we can, man. And so, yeah, thanks for coming, and thank you guys for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoy it. Hit that like button. So you guys have a good night.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.